hi everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Liam Hartery here with another episode of Presenting Champions. Today with episode 224. We're into it thick today. We got some amazing things to talk about. I'm joined by Jay Action Jackson today, former professional MMA fighter turned bare knuckle boxer, recently competing for BKFC. He's already been in there with some of the best names for that promotion. ESPN recognized fighter and also owner of Multiverse FC as well. We're going to be talking about a bit of everything today. We're going to be talking about MMA, bare knuckle boxing, past, present, future, the mindset that it takes to reach a high level in some of the toughest sports on earth as well. So we got a lot to get into today. Champ, thank you very much for coming on the show, my man. It's awesome to have you here today.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Said.
Awesome. So just now before we started recording, you were saying about like some of the training you've been doing with Alvin and with Lorenzo and everything. Tell us a little bit about that, man. I'm sure people would love to hear about like your daily grind, basically. I know it's what you do every day, but it's very, very cool for everyone else listening into this, you know?
Oh man, it's pretty intense and it's very just like consistent. We run this mountain called La Pica in Rico. I always mispronounce the name of the city that we're at, but it's Elvin's hometown, and we got about two mountains. One of them's called La Pica, and we run that bad boy like every Monday. Yeah, I mean, and it's about 3 miles high, going incline, and we work out, spar, all that good stuff. Yeah, I mean, just the regular MMA or bare knuckle boxing fighter training regimen of the week. But that's probably one of my favorite highlights, is that I got to run a mountain like every other day, and just grind that shit out. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is amazing, man. I mean, fair play, like the inclines and everything, that's brutal, but it's good training. How long were you out there then in Puerto Rico? How long were you over there?
I was there from about Thanksgiving. So like the day after, probably like after Black Friday, I was there until about this weekend. So about 2 months.
Okay, yeah, very nice, man. Very nice. There's probably some beautiful weather over there as well, I gotta say.
Yeah, it was nice. Better than this cold shit I'm in now.
Yeah,
I love it.
You're in Michigan now, isn't it? That's like where you're based out, like fighting out of, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my life, man.
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, cool. Well, let's get into it a little bit with like your plans for the year as well, because for anyone who's watching this later on, this interview, I mean, we're talking now obviously in January, early part of 2023. So let's walk through like some of your plans for the year, what you're aiming for this year, and the fire in your belly, like who you want to fight, and just anything that you're building up for in 2023, basically.
2023, I'm just trying to get back on the winning ways. I did come up short against Jarrett Warren in November. Universe just wasn't working, working in my favor. All congrats to that. So main mission, get back on the winning track with BKFC. I got a lot of fight in me. Not really much of a call out to anyone, but anyone in the 185 division that wants some. Action Jackson's trying to get a contract and fight you. It's just how I roll. Humble heart all day long. I love fighting. If you're in the sport and you want to fight, you can make an 85 on the scale. I'm ready to go. There were talks for February, so I'm hoping I get in there in February. Not for Knucklemania, of course, but for New Orleans, there's a card that's coming in London in March. So it's either or, but I like to stay ready. I'm team stay ready. So getting back on my winning ways is number one for 2023. And just continue on the path. I love bare knuckle boxing. I love fighting. I've been competing for a really long time. So just staying ready. I'm with us, the Stay Ready Club, and I'm staying ready no matter what I'm at. If I'm on the beach or if I'm running in the snow in Michigan, I'm ready to go.
100%. Awesome. Well, I'm sure it's going to be a big year, man. There's some big fights out there, whether it's in the USA, whether it's over here in the UK as well. We'd love to have you, man. Whatever comes up, it's going to be awesome. And there's some big fights out there. Now, obviously, we'll talk about the, like I say, the past, present, and the future. So we'll move around in time a little bit. I'll come back to the fighting stuff now and bare knuckle, but I also want to mention like the Multiverse FC, your company that you own, and give a little bit
Yeah.
of a shout out to that as well. Because to be 100% honest with you, like I've seen you posting about it and things, I've looked into it a little bit. I don't know loads about it. So, you can fill me in a little bit of more info on it and everyone who's listening as well, like how you set that up, what you do with it, and just how the whole thing's working, basically.
Well, I'll fill you in with it, man. Like I've been doing mixed martial arts. I've been a fighter for about 10 years, guys, like real talk. And I've had such a fun journey with it. It's very unique. I've met so many people and it's put me on a really good track. Um, uh, Not just like on like a financial track, but just on a track of just being around very compassionate fighters and teachers, and with that, what those things turn into drive to travel around the world and meet other fighters from I've been to the UK, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Thailand twice, and I fought all over the United States in MMA and kickboxing. So what it turned into was like, how can I turn all these years of experience into somewhat of a business? So I started putting on seminars, and I talked to kids, I talked to young adults, and I talked to other green fighters about what they should do or what they can do to pursue their own dreams. I've had such a, like I said, I've had such a fun journey that, I don't want to keep it to myself. Of course, there's always ups and downs when it comes to MMA, and some people have really high highs, some people have really low lows. I've been blessed not to have neither. What I mean? I've had just a really fun journey. So I go and I have seminars, and I'll teach some kids a couple of techniques, share my stories about, because I have so many stories I can select, if from Thailand or from being in Ireland, or even sharing the ring with Gegard Mousasi randomly in Amsterdam. Like it's just a cool thing to share. So that's what the Multiverse FC is about. I mean, it's just about bringing all these, bringing people together, teaching some mixed martial arts, holding mitts, giving people a workout, giving people a good 2-hour outlet to burn a couple calories with me and share stories.
That's incredible, man. I mean, first of all, massive respect to that because, I love it when people have reached like the top of the mountain type of thing. No pun intended, what we were saying earlier, but you've reached like the high level of sport and everything, to give back and contribute to people's lives and pass on your knowledge. I love that, when people take the time to do that. So massive respect on that, man. That is incredible. Question for you there then that I was going to ask later on, but we'll ask it now. Obviously, this interview's be going out around the world and everything. Any up and coming fighters watching this, who are like brand new to combat sports, I don't want to give away any of your like trade secrets or whatever, but if there was like one or two little snippets that you wanted to share with people, that like advice, for people who want to do well, maybe one or two little things, what would you say to somebody who's like just starting out type of thing, if you get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you're just starting out, man, note that nothing comes easy. Like I'm not, man, like I'll tell you this right now, even with having the experience that I did have, getting into BKFC was not an easy task for me. What I mean? Like it's not like I shined out, bright through a million other guys who are trying to do the same thing that I'm trying to do. I woke up one day and I said I was going to go to Florida to tryouts, and it was literally a 2-day decision. So I mean, I just want to tell people, man, like, note that this stuff comes with sacrifice. Know that, if you're going to wait for the phone call, you might be waiting forever. It's all about what you want to do. So, make sure you get your notebook, pen, and paper ready, because stuff's not like it is on TV. Not everything's just a phone call and a golden ticket, and now you're in the chocolate factory and you own everything. Nah, you gotta put yourself out there. I mean, you gotta make it a tryouts. If you didn't do tryouts and didn't work out, then you gotta go to another tryout. If that doesn't happen, you gotta make some phone calls. I mean, if them phone calls don't work, you just gotta keep on grinding. I mean, and also remember, stay training, man. Like, work out. People recognize that shit. I mean, like, it might have took me a few years of working out all day long, but people, it went from Jay Jackson does this, Jay Jackson does this as a hobby. Now 10 years later, Jay Jackson is a fighter, and I take that I take that as a blessing. It's pretty cool, what I mean? Because at one time I'm just like anyone else, playing UFC, with Brock Lesnar on the Xbox, and I'm creating a character, and it says I need to level up on jiu-jitsu. I tell you this right now, 10 minutes later, I sold that Xbox and I bought more MMA shit and was like, hey, I got to get better in jiu-jitsu for real. So I just turned my life into a video game, and before you know it, I'm co-main on BKFC cards, or I'm fighting for Key in the Cage. So it's all about effort, it's all about sacrifice, it's all about doing stuff that you don't want to do, but you gotta do because you're not a punk. So you just gotta grind it out and be patient. What I mean? Like, stuff doesn't happen automatically. It's just a journey, man. I hate to go through a ramble about it, but that's just the truth. What I mean? Like I said, it's not, a lot of this stuff's not easy. I know for a fact that when I'm on this grind, there's just times where I get tired, I get cranky, you just don't know what's going to happen. And then before you know it, it just works out. So, I just tell everyone just to stay patient, train hard. You might not think no one's recognizing your hard work, and then before you know it, a lot more people are recognizing it, than you think. So just stay out your head and just, stay grinding.
Love that, man. That's straight from the heart, first of all. And some very, very, very wise words there. And obviously, it's a beautiful thing because, hopefully when we put this out there, that'll touch a couple of people's lives. I'm all about putting motivation and, upliftment, positivity, whatever you want to call it, out there, with these podcasts. So thank you for sharing that, my man.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no really secrets. I mean? Like, there's just like, I wish I had like a secret to tell you guys, what I mean? But I tell you this right now, there's not much, there's no secret pill or secret thing or secret person that can really push you to, what I mean, to push anyone to tell you that the gates of MMA or fight-ins are going to open, man. What I mean? It's it's just like, you work hard, you tell people what you want, and the universe will guide you through it. What I mean? And that's just like that's the best way I can put it. And then at the end of the day, when it's time to go, it's all on you to be ready. And that's the reason why I train as hard as I do. That's the reason why I do things the way I do it. What I mean? Because when the call happens, I got to be ready. And if it's 4 weeks, if it's a week, or if it's 2 months, I got to be ready for it. What I mean? Like, and I feel like I like it the way it is. What I mean? I want things to be better. I want things to be this and that, and this and that. But before you know it, I get the call and the magic happens. So, like, I swear that's like the best way I can even tell you the secret of it. I mean? Like, if there's any secret or if there's any person, man, it's just like, hey, it's like, there's a combination of all that shit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, this is the thing. It's amazing lessons that you've learned along the way. You've learned from the grind. You've learned from, improving yourself as a person, as a human being, as well as a fighter. So, like I said before, I got all the respect in the world for you sharing that straight from the heart as well. No filter, just straight out there. Absolutely amazing. We'll come back to the fighting stuff as well, you know, because obviously we were talking earlier about like your plans for this year and everything. We've touched
Yeah.
on that, but also I'd like to go back a little bit and just talk about like your transition into bare knuckle boxing as well, from MMA, from kickboxing. Because you mentioned then when you were just saying just now, you woke up, you thought, you know what, this is for me. I'm going to go to the tryouts and everything. Walk us through that process, man. Like where the inspiration came from, you know?
Well, like I was, don't let me ramble. I was in Thailand and I ran into Mark Godbeer, and he was training for the Ken Shamrock promotion, and I was training for a kickboxing fight, you know, man, or whatnot. And we trained together or whatnot, and he was like, and he did, you know, he was getting ready for a bare knuckle fight, and I was like, this stuff might be mainstream, you know what I mean? And I already knew about it, you know what I mean? Like I knew about, you know, I seen that fight with Tony Lopez and Joey Beltran. I don't know if this is before and after, so don't quote me on this, but like you know, I already knew bare knuckle was popping off, and I was like, I think I want to know how it feels to get hit with no glove. So I was training with Mark, and then I think about 2 years after, I started hearing more about tryouts. Chris Lieben had a tryout in Phoenix, and I was doing some stuff in Los Angeles, and I was thinking I might stop there, and I couldn't make it to that one. And then just one day you know, just, you know, because I'm always training, and I was like, you know what? I called my dude, and I was like, you think this, you know, do you think it's worth to go to the tryouts in Tampa? And he was like, I wouldn't hurt. And I was like, cool, because I'm on my way right now. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I was already on the car, already on my way down there, and from Michigan, and I did tryouts, and you know, man, it just kind of went from there. You know what I mean? Start, you know, you run into, you run into people looking for management, you hit some nets, you know what I mean, and you just try to you collect, and then before you know it, by I think it was in June or July. I'm on that Paige Van Zandt card. I'm on that Paige Van Zandt with all the YouTubers and shit, and got the fight on YouTube and had the good knockout. So it's just like there was just built up. There, you know, that fight gave me momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you believe that you like, because you've been speaking, one of the things I want to touch on here about like the universe and about basically, you know, manifesting these things and being on the right path and everything like that. Talk to us a little bit about like your beliefs on, do you believe that you visualize this opportunity into existence, you know, from meeting like Mark Garbier, thinking about bare knuckle, focusing on it and everything, and then getting to the tryouts, you know, just keep, if you get where I'm going with this, like just keep
Yeah.
moving.
Oh no, real talk. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yay and nay. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, you have so much discouragement in between
Yeah.
all this shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not like because like it's not like you're gonna go through this stuff and not everyone's gonna think that you're gonna be able to do it or whatnot. And things sometimes don't work out the way it's exactly how it's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So did I visualize that I was gonna that I can take back and do some good shit in BKFC? Yes. You know what I mean? I believe that in my heart. You know what I mean? Because I know what type of fight I put on, no matter who I'm in there with. And like, so I like, like with the universe and stuff like that, I just felt like if I work hard and if I keep working hard and I keep training, people will recognize that, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about like, not just like, not just people in BKFC or people in anywhere, just anyone in general will recognize that I put in work. So, I just felt like with the universe and stuff, I feel like if I just put in work and I train my ass off and just stay on the course of whatever I want to do, I'll get what I work for, so, that's how I do things with the universe. You know what I mean? If I work for it and if I want it, then I'll get it. You know what I mean? And it won't be on a time. It'll be when it needs to be on time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's it doesn't have to be, it might not be in February, it might happen in April. It doesn't happen in April, it might be in December. But whenever that time comes, I'm gonna be ready for it. And I'm gonna make sure that time was well spent trying to make this work. So
Absolutely. Yeah, that's an awesome life lesson as well. Having faith in the process, trusting in the process, what you put in, you get out. There's a few life lessons in what you said there. I love it. So moving back into like bare knuckle specifically, obviously I believe for you personally, I believe like the best is yet to come in BKFC and the biggest fights. But you've already been in there with some great names. Do you have a favorite fight or a favorite moment so far, like out of the fights you've had, that stands out to you as being like the most special one in any way?
my favorite one was when my first fight, my first knockout fight. I tell you this right now, I love Damon Bell. I respect him. Uh, like I said, because from fighter to fighter, I understand the grind. And me and him got in that ring, and we, like I said, that's where that magic happened. But we had a great fight. It was back and forth a little bit, but that knockout was just, it was, I visualized that knockout all the time. Nothing against anyone that was in that fight, but it was just like, man, like I heard it. I was like, I said that this did it. I mean, they liked that. I heard the crowd, the sound of the punch. And then once I started seeing video of it, it was just like, oh my God, like this is what people want. You know what I mean? And then people talk to me about it, and people's moms and shit. You know what I mean? They're like, oh my God, I seen Jay Jackson, and it was a cool fight. And so that's number one for sure. I had a barnyard with Doolittle. Me and him had a hockey fight, which was hilarious. And then, with me and Terry, I mean, it's, all respect to Terry, but, I felt comfortable, and I felt like it was a good display of 5 rounds of some good chest fight. And then with Jarrett Warren, it was, just the universe just wasn't working my way, and I just wasn't getting my timing right. And, I wasn't able to come up with the win. He came out, got cut pretty bad, but I healed up well. So, I mean, like, like I said, I feel like all my fights had great moments. Fighters that I love to watch, though, I'm not gonna lie, not to kiss the London people ass, but Conor Turner, I love me some Conor. I swear, I talked to him on here, and I'm like, nigga, I'm your favorite. I love you. You know what I mean? Because he's really good. He's really fast, very technical. You know what I mean? And very confident. So I love watching some Conor Turner. Lorenzo Hunt, I'm friends with him and I work out with him. He's a wizard, very smart guy. He's taking on we all know that he's taking on Richmond at Knucklemania in February. Great wizard, smart guy, very confident. Love working out with him. When I work with him, he teaches me a lot, and he breaks me down. And Matt, respect to that. Those, but Conor Turney and some Lorenzo Hunt, I swear I could sit there and watch their fights all day. I love them.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Some amazing talents, my next level talents, straight up on that. I feel you on that 100%. So you mentioned earlier about like when you got into bare knuckle boxing, wanting to know about being hit with a bare fist and everything. And obviously you have this extensive experience with MMA, kickboxing. I want to come back to that, talk more about that in a minute. But first, like when you do get hit with a bare fist, is it more painful? Because I asked a lot of people this on the show, and some people say yes, some people say no. There's different opinions on this. What are your thoughts on like the threshold that you have to like push through type of thing in bare knuckle boxing compared to like some other fight sport,
Bare knuckle. Okay, I say this to everybody, and even people who might watch this will laugh. It's just cuts, man. Like that's what a bare knuckle is. It's cuts. So like it's almost like getting a tattoo. You know what I mean? Like people can withstand tattoo pain, but just know like getting hit with a bare fist, it's just like it's getting cut. But then when you fight with like MMA gloves, you get a full blown thud, but it don't knock you out, so it hurts even more because you can continuously get hit with those. With a bare knuckle, it don't get me wrong, it still hurts, it still knocks you out and everything like that. But the bare knuckle, I think the MMA glove thing is just annoying it's an annoying pain. You know what I mean? Because it's slap, 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 slap over and over again. You know what I mean? This makes me sound like I've taken a lot of ass whoopings. But what I'm saying is, it's just like that's the biggest difference. Like I said, when I fought Damon, we went in there and I was my initial thing. I wanted to see how that shit was gonna feel. We were going back and forth, and I'm like, all right, it's cuts. Yeah, I mean, like it's not it's a cut thing, because that's what, MMA was a pad. It was like a slap. Not saying like a straight up, like not saying like a soft slap. I'm talking about a hard ass slap, but it's like over and over and over again. And then if they hit you in the button or you get knocked out, then you get knocked out. At least with bare knuckle, it's just cutty. You know what I mean? And then if they hit you in the chin, then it's a knockout. You know what I mean? So you don't feel anything. But I love bare knuckle because, like I said, that's how I look at it. It's cuts. I got hit and it's like, ooh, cut. You know what I mean? But it's like a scratch. You know what I mean? It's not a thud.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I feel you on that, man. It makes total sense, it's something that, like, obviously, the fighters will know, anyone who's been involved in that. But this is one, like, for the fans, they don't know, they see from the outside looking in. So it's like an endless fascination with people for some reason. So thank you for clarifying that. I want to touch on the MMA and everything as well, even though, like, bare knuckle boxing, you're getting, mad respect for that. Like, you're getting the exposure, you're getting everything. Obviously, MMA, kickboxing as well. It's extensive, man. I mean, you've been in there with a lot of good guys, a lot of different locations, a lot of different styles, everything. Walk us through, and I'm sure this is a big question, by the way, but walk us through, like, some of your highlights from basically MMA and kickboxing, some of your proudest moments, your favorite moments, places it's taken you. You mentioned earlier about Thailand, Egypt, all these, like, all around the world and everything. Just the things that, like, stick with you in your mind that you look back on as, like, special memories, from that time, if you get what I mean.
oh man, so many, dude. I've been doing this for a grip.
I know it's a big
Um,
question. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine, man. Like I said, I love to chat, dude. I think you kind of get my drift. I'm a chatter man, but the like I said, the MMA journey, kickboxing journey, the travels, it's been 100% wonderful, dude. Like I said, I didn't have a great MMA career. Just, what I mean, I live it. I live it. But I mean, as in winning losses, but I had a great one. You know what I mean? Just off of just every journey that I got to take. I fought for Keenan Cage, fought for HFC, WXC, all these great promotions here in Michigan. Also, then I ended up messing around and fighting in New Orleans. In Biloxi and Colorado, Oregon, Wisconsin, New York. You know what I mean? So, like, I tell you this right now, overall my MMA career, it was definitely interesting. You know what I mean? I took people on in their own backyards. Just wasn't much of a grappler. Yeah, I mean, I was known as a stand-up guy, so everyone had a cheat code. But still enjoyed it, man. Met a lot of great people. I think one of my highlights wasn't from my pro career, it was from my amateur, because I was from the Wild Wild West of Michigan. We were fighting 3-minute sanctioned MMA fights here, or unsanctioned, I guess. But we're fighting here in Michigan, and I actually did a WWF powerbomb to someone in the ring in a fantastic banger. I always have to dig through YouTube to find that fight. Guy was a great guy though. I mean, I still talk to him to this day. But yeah, we had before viral was a thing. I had an almost double knockout with Owen Martin, which I still get people sharing that with me till this day. Like, oh, remember we were talking about this? Like, all right, I'll mention it. Wasn't my favorite fight. I hate that fight. Just off the fact that I got hit so many fucking times, and but I was happy I won. So I did win. It was for a belt, and it went viral. People started figuring me out. So I mean, like, that was a cool one. With the pro MMA, I think one of my favorite pro MMA fights wasn't even a win. It was a split decision that I had with a guy in Oregon, and me and him had a banger, man. Threw knees, had some ground game, just lost by split decision. And it was those things that really made me feel like, all right, this is what I do. And before you know it, I went from more of a professional fighter to being a professional mixed martial artist. You know what I mean? And that started selling me into that realm of talk of like not just being, oh, just a fighter or just being a bum or just being this and being that. I became a professional mixed martial artist because I'm getting experience, because with experience comes experience. So I kept fighting these dudes. But those were kind of like I think like my 4 favorite moments. Had a cool omoplata TKO where I did an omoplata, got on top, did some banging out, got a TKO, just stuff like that. You know, man, got knocked out really bad in Lockport, New York. That was hilarious. Uh, dude, dude was like a Glory kickboxer or something like that. He fought in Glory. It was my first K1 kickboxing fight. And that dude hit me in the head, knocked me out. That was just terrible. But, you know, just a funny highlight. But I mean, I got up and that was like 5 years later and I'm back. I'm still fighting. So, you know, I got up, got back on the horse. So it's just, that's, you know, that's just how that's how that ride's kind of been, you know.
Yeah, amazing, man. I mean, it's amazing to get your memories, and you know what? I could just see your face lighting up with like the memories of like, these amazing moments. And man, I got a lot of respect for that. Because like I was saying before, I mean, bare knuckle boxing, that's what you're known for. That's what you're like now, I would say, it's really blowing up. But like, man, giving a mention to that. Got to give a mention to the kickboxing as well. And again, you'll have to fill me in a little bit on this. I don't know how many fights you've had. Like I've seen some of them out there and everything. But like with K1 and things like that, how many of those have you had, first of all? Do you know, or have you
No,
lost
I
track?
didn't have too many. I had like 3 of them bitches. Like like I said, I dabbled in K1. I wasn't even in K1. You know, I mean, I don't even try to consider myself a kickboxer because I didn't have too many. I only had like 2 and I lost all of them. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. I hate to put that on record, but it's just like, it is what it is. But it's just, like I said, a lot of them were last minute. I think like a lot of them were kind of last minute. A lot of them were kind of like, I had one that was kind of like maybe a week out and I had to cut a lot of weight or whatnot, but I just wanted to try it. I just get anxious. So I'd be trying to get in there. And, I had one that was a few months out. I had to go against the number 5 guy that was already in Glory. And since I had MMA experience, they kind of mixed it all together. And I took him on, and then, I had a really sloppy one, I think, at the end, where I was just like, all right, I think I'm just not a kickboxer. You know what I mean? Like it was just really sloppy. Don't even want to go into bad details about it, but it just didn't work out. Kind of ended the K1 kickboxing dream. Like, okay, I'm a stand-up guy, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not, I guess I don't like kicks, you know what I mean, or whatnot, and that's just me being blunt honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I know obviously we're touching on like the highs and the lows here a little bit with this, but man, I just got mad respect for you getting in there with anybody, trying different styles. I mean, that takes a lot of guts, that takes a lot of heart, to get in there and like mix it up in different ways, if you get what I'm saying, like, going from MMA into K1. I mean, it still made you the fighter you are today. You still maybe took some lessons from it or whatever, and now let your hands do the talking, and look how that's working out for you. So I mean, it turned out good in the end. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe that's just me looking on the bright side or whatever, but that's kind of the way I see it.
Right.
But yeah, testing yourself. I mean, testing yourself. That's massive respect for that. So obviously, you touched on something earlier, which I want to go back to about like people, resharing fights and people, the exposure you're getting. With the exposure you're getting now with, bare knuckle boxing and everything, I mean, what is it like? I mean, you probably, your social media is probably blowing up all the time. I see you getting a lot of love on there. But like in terms of, the basically the fame or the exposure that you're getting now through bare knuckle. I mean, you probably always had a bit of exposure, but it just really seems to have gone up a notch. Correct me if I'm wrong. Talk to us a little bit about the fans and what some of that stuff means to you in terms of like people reaching out to you from around the world and everything that's happening now, if you get where I'm going with this one.
No, fact, dude. Hey, I'm an introvert, so it's not the fact I don't like people. I'm just always focused on training. The fame that I've gotten, it's not, I don't want to say like it's like crazy fame or anything like that, but I got a lot of people ask questions,
Yeah.
and I'm always down to talk. You know what I mean? And the people who do reach out and show love to me, I totally appreciate them, and I talk to them just like, yeah, they talking to Jay Action Jackson. Yeah, they're not just talking to Jay Action Jackson, they're talking to Jay Jackson. So for for the people who do support and DM me and talk to me and give me congrats and stuff like that, I love them, man, and I try to give them advice the best I can. It's almost even like this, you know what I mean? I just shoot the shit with them and just kind of go from there. You know, I'm blessed not to have because MMA, bare knuckle, combat sports in general comes with like terrible critics. I've been able to avoid that. You know what I mean? And I'm blessed about it. And I hope I continue to avoid that. And it's not the fact that I'm trying to avoid it. It's just the fact that I don't have it. I don't care. You know, like life comes with ups and downs. I'm not in your life. You're not in mine. I don't try to take your shoes. Don't try to take mine. And that's just kind of how I live my life. But the people who do show love, I try to show love back. You know, and try to guide them to the best direction of what they want to do. If it's not fitness, if it's not just getting taught a mixed martial art, or if it's not just how to get in a bare knuckle and stuff like that. If I have connections at the time, I shoot them a text, I shoot them a call, I shoot them the number, because I know that as much as I care about me, I care about you. So like, if you want to really get in the game and you really want to do this, I want to see you try to do it. You know what I mean? And if I can be a connection, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? And I try to press people to do tryouts, or I press people to try to run a little bit, try some jujitsu, you know what I mean, or try some yoga, because it's fun. Like this shit's supposed to be fun no matter what, and I try to keep it fun, and I love, like I said, with the exposure and the fans that I've gotten, it's not that big. I'm not gonna try to say, oh, I'm just this superstar. No, but I do get some outsiders that I don't know, and I try to give them the best advice that I can, and and make sure to and just keep it real, and when they're having a conversation, they're not talking to Jay Jackson, they're talking to Jay Jackson. Jay Jackson's for the ring. Man, that's what you see. That's what I present. But when you talk to me on Facebook or social medias or whatnot in interviews, you're talking to Jay Jackson.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm glad we got to touch on that because it's something that, like, trying to figure out how to put it, but basically, the fact that you've got the time of day for people, the fact that you put, positivity and respect and everything out there, obviously it comes back to you. What you put out, you get back. You know how that goes. And it is something I love about you, man. It's something part of the reason for getting you on the show as well. I was like the fights and everything. You're 100% authentic. You know what I mean? You're real. Like you talk real. There's no fakeness there. And you don't see a lot of that in this day and age. You see more of it in the fight game, but still, there's a lot of fakeness. So do you know what I mean? Like the fact you're just real, you just say what you're thinking and everything. I got respect for that. So we're moving into the last couple of things now. I think pretty much, because we talked about a lot of stuff, man. I mean, it's flown by. I forgot to ask you earlier about how you mentally prepare for fights. Now we sort of touched on this a little bit with like the universe manifesting, visualizing, all that good stuff. But when it comes to like, on the build up to a fight, obviously you stay ready. When it is approaching, this is something that nobody really sees except for like the people in camp and everything, like the people who are like up close and personal. What is going through your head on the build up to a big fight, basically?
Let me tell you something. It always sucks. I hope I don't discourage anybody. It sucks. I don't have that. I don't have the secret pill or the secret formula or the psychological trick for you. I know that I know I get nervous. I can't stand it. I hate my life. And I think I forgot the front door. I think I forgot to close the front door before I get out there. But I tell you this right now, I just tried to psych myself out to remember that I'm excited, that I'm not nervous, I'm excited. You know what I mean? And that's what I've had in my head the whole time, no matter what or how or what's going on in the back before the fight. I just had to remind myself that I'm not nervous, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, because I'm about to do something different. I'm doing something new. You know, I got a lot of people. I'm out there with my underwear on, man. Yeah, I mean, butt naked in front of all these people, and I'm trying to perform. I'm supposed to feel this way. So I try not to like psych myself out of, I try not to tell myself not to be hyped and not to be nervous. I try to just tell myself that I'm excited and I'm supposed to feel this way. And I have to try to use these tools to do my best in the ring. I caught myself both ways, being too calm and then I lose the fight, or being too excited and I lose the fight. So, you know, just with these days, I just try to tell myself that, you know, instead of I'm nervous, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, and you know, I'm taking on a brand new experience and I'm supposed to feel this way. So use the shit.
Yeah. Man, fair play. I feel you on that. But the thing is, well, I was just saying 2 minutes ago, wasn't I? Like you're real, you're authentic, you're from the heart. I was just saying that, and then we have this conversation. I don't think a lot of people in a fight game would be as honest about that process as what you just said. You know what I mean? I mean, well, even when I do these interviews, some people do say it, but a lot of people you ask them about nerves and stuff, and they're like, "Oh no, man, but it doesn't happen to me." But obviously, it obviously does because we're human, And I know, like you've been doing this a long time, so you get used to it and everything. But it's still like a human process. So just that's not a question for me. I'm just saying thank you, man, for spitting it from
Yeah.
the heart, like, and just being straight up, because
No, just trying to make it clear, man, because I swear, like it's, you know, you go in the back and you, like I said, I'm in the back with all the fighters. You know what I mean? So I see it. You know what I mean? And that shit gets me nervous watching how nervous they are. And I'm like, and I'm just chilling. So I tell you this right now, like I know we all go through it. You know what I mean? And I'm like I said, I'm not throwing no one under the bus here. I'm just saying, like, when you're in the back, we're all there. You know what I mean? Like we're all in that same thing, and that's something that we all have in common. And so it's just like it's not nervousness; we're just excited. You know what I mean? That's all it is. I mean, we got a lot. We've all got a lot of things that are going on in our minds. You know what I mean? We got a lot of things that are on the line: our reputations, monies, families, bills, blah 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 blah. So I mean, like I feel like we all got a common robbery with that. You know what I mean? Like if it's not all those situations, it's nervousness. You know what I mean? And if it's not nervous, then we're excited. You know what I mean? So I just think it's excitement. You know what I mean? So I go in there knowing that I'm going to have all that shit on my mind and the 4 kids that I don't have. And and just trying to go in there and just try to make the best out of it.
yeah,
And by the
absolutely.
way, I don't have no kids, and I be nervous about kids I'm about to have in the future in that bitch. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, it's just like, oh my God, what about my kids? They don't have kids. I said, but I want them. You know what I mean? Like you can have that shit going on in your mind. So it's just like that's just excitement, man. It's just like, because before you know it, you win, then all that shit doesn't matter. You know what I mean? All that shit, oh shit. You know what I mean? You're back to laughing about how nervous you were. So obviously I feel like it's both the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I was like, it's just excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good way of like looking at it from a different point of view, reframing it and everything. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's great advice as well for people who are getting into the game, like I said earlier as well. The fact that you've been straight up about that process is, yeah, man, amazing insight into the mind of a fighter. Like I said at the beginning, the mindset it takes to reach the high level in like some of the toughest sports on earth, which is what you're doing. I mean, some of these fight sports, some of the toughest sports on earth, and that's no disrespect to anybody, but they are. So amazing. So obviously, like I say, we're reaching like the final sort of phase of this. Are you going to be sticking solely with bare knuckle boxing now and like leaving the MMA and everything behind, or are you going to be doing like a bit of that as well and doing the bare knuckle boxing together type of thing?
Nah, like unfortunately, and this, I mean, maybe this is me being too real. Action Jackson's actually at the end of the competitive line of his multiverse timeline. BKFC, it's fun. I mean, like I don't really have no like let's just say that I'm finding the cure for the itch these days. I love competing, but I've been competing for a long time. I've been doing this forever. So BKFC is kind of like my last timeline. I'm not saying that I'm going to retire this year or retire this year. I don't have a time frame on retiring from competing, but I don't have an itch to just be competing for every other sport other than BKFC right now. BKFC is one of the top tier fucking promotions in the world. I've gotten a blessed opportunity to be part of it. So, I'm cool with just being part of BKFC as of for the remainder of the end of this timeline that I'm on with BKFC. But no, I'm not itching to fight that much. Like I said, I fought a lot. You know what I mean? So I know other motherfuckers, from everywhere in other countries has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But I'm from the United States, so there's only so many hundreds of fights that they'll let you get into here. But in my equivalent of what the United States fight timeline is, I've had hundreds of fights in my head. And right now I'm in BKFC. I enjoy being part of that organization and doing with the shit that I'm doing with them. I'd rather just take it out from here. And then once this timeline comes to an end, this is my last string of competition. I mean, like I love competing and things like that, but I've been doing this for a long time. So this is all respect. Like I said, I'm not saying that nothing, my mind doesn't change in the next 10 minutes, but I know right now in the real life, in my real timeline, I've been doing this for a while. I love being part of BKFC. I have no problems that no one else has with being part of an organization, but I'm just trying to see what I can do with BKFC, what I can do with bare knuckle boxing. Would love to become the 185 champion down the line, and then just continue on with my mixed martial arts career from there. I mean that necessarily doesn't have to be competing. If it turns into coaching or just advancing my Multiverse FC into a big gym, so I can continue to teach kids and teach green people, with their sport and help them with their sports journey.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it makes sense. Well, first of all, BKFC, there's some big fights out there. Like I said at the beginning, the future is very, very bright for you, and yeah, I can see you doing really well with this. But whether you go out with it, what a way to go out on top, whether you do a bit more MMA or whatever after, it's all good, man. It's testament to how far you've come. And also, yeah, man, with the coaching and everything, it's not even a question. I'm just saying to you, like, I hope that you keep that up and keep building it up and everything, because passing on the knowledge, passing on the wisdom that you've obtained, to other people. I mean, even like today, even now, like we've been talking about fighting, but you're teaching people about life as well. I mean, this is like a lot of stuff we've talked about in here is about life as well. So I can imagine, like, when you're teaching people, you're teaching them about life. I can totally see you doing, like, I mean, you're already doing seminars, be it doing like public speaking and doing like motivational speaking, that type of something that has an influence on people. I know that might sound strange, but that's totally the vibe you give, that you could 100%, you're already doing it, but like take that up a level. So I hope you do. And yeah, I mean, the future's bright. We've talked about a lot today. I got no idea how long we've been talking, but it's flown by. We've talked about a lot. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank you for being an open book. And like I said to you before, speaking, straight from the heart and I know you're like that anyway, but some of the stuff we talked about today, we've gone a little bit deeper into things as well as the fight stuff. So just thank you for your time and thank you for being an open book, man. I appreciate it a lot and much respect to you. Yeah,
honestly. Man, much respect, man. Thank you for having me, guys. Like I said, it is what it is, man. Like I said, I love doing what I do. I have had a good time. Like I said, there's no holdbacks. I mean, I think we can all eat. So I just, whatever anyone, if it's negative or if it's positive, man, I'm just, I love doing what I do. I love fighting, and I'm training. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to get in there. Hopefully pretty soon. And I'm all about putting on a show for the people, man. So that'll never change.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely do that, man. I mean, super exciting fight there, and every time, man, you're giving it your all. And for your next one, I'll be cheering you on as well. And yeah, wishing you good luck with it. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.